Hello, welcome to the Real Estate Regroup Show. I am your host, LJ Walker, a real estate investor helping you realize your dream of owning a home or investing in one. Today, I'm going to be speaking about maximizing your overtime. Now, let me just get this disclaimer out the way. I want to preface to say that I am not a financial advisor, CPA, or tax attorney. Since laws change, it's best to discuss this with them. To save money, you can also go to your public library, check out some of the books that they have. They also have free counselors, financial counselors that can help you one-on-one with what you're going through. You can also go to a financial empowerment zone or visit www.greenpath.com to find a local one closer to where you live that offers free services. And there's also a number of websites that I've come into lately that have also offered free financial advisors as well. What I'm sharing with you are just some things that I've noticed, some things that I've picked up along the way throughout my years. Some things I'm actually still puzzled about, but I'm also going to share my strategy as well. Now, like many people, whenever you want something, what do? You work overtime, right? Well, a few times in the past, when I worked overtime, particularly when I was younger, I noticed that there were a few times when I actually took home less pay than what my regular check would be. And when I did my taxes, I was expecting that money to come back, but it did not. So I definitely inquired about what's going on because I was not happy with that at all. Well, another coworker, because that's the first person you normally speak to, who I spoke to, told me that when you work more than 12 hours within a week, that it puts you in a higher tax bracket. So that's why I was paying more taxes than before. Another person said that I should go back and look at my W-9 form, that I might have filled it wrong. But I just want to say this to many of you that you may not know this. A lot of times when we start a job, we fill out the W-9 form one way, but as our life changes, we don't think to go back and update that form. That's something that we definitely should do, okay? Another person, my financial advisor, that was recommended to me by somebody else, he said that the problem was that I didn't put enough money into my 401k. Well, I listened to him and I noticed that less money was taken out of my paycheck when I did that. And then the last person was another current coworker, and that person said that what they do is that they put the overtime money straight into their 401k. And then whatever, if it goes over, because normally there's sort of a limit as far as what you can put in. Not sure about that, but he'll put the rest of it in an IRA, which is outside of the job, separate, into another retirement vehicle. This way he can keep all of his money. Well, here's the thing. I thought about what he said, and then I said, well, what about those people who were like me and they were trying to work overtime so that they could buy the house, but the government came in and took most of that money away? You see, the 401k and the IRA is only penalty free if you are a first-time home buyer. However, there are some limitations on that. If it's an IRA, The maximum you can take out for a lifetime is $10,000. If it's a 401k, the maximum is $50,000 to withdraw. And then you have to use that money within 120 days. You also have to have an account with both of them for a minimum of 5 years. You can't just take that money out. Let's say you just got the job, you see. And then, of course, the last way is if it's a natural disaster. Well, what if you're not going through a natural disaster, but you want to buy a home? The 401k and the IRA may not be an option for you. Okay. The other possible scenarios is this. If the home that you're going to buy is going to be an investment home, you definitely can't use it then. So, and then what if there's a recession that's coming, which everybody says that it is? It's always coming. And what if the recession hits and you lose your job before you're able to pay that money back into the 401k or IRA? You see? So that's why we have to look at other solutions to this problem. Personally, if I'm saving the money for something like a house, and as an investor, I would definitely put it into a self-directed IRA. Otherwise, I would just use that money to do maintenance or, light fixing, light rehabs. Definitely, I'm not going to use the 401k or the IRA for a gut rehab. Would be just for minor repairs. And then, of course, those repairs would be, tax deductible. And that's basically how I would do it. But otherwise, I would definitely consider triple tax-free short-term bonds, so that this way the money would grow tax-free. I'd keep more of my money, and then I could use it to go ahead and purchase homes. Now, what some people do is they'll put some of the money into a child savings account. And from my understanding, I was reading a book recently, How to Pay Zero Taxes, and they were saying you can put $6,500 into a child savings account. Any earned income or income from wages and salaries, tips from self-employment is not subject to the quote-unquote kiddie tax. Okay? Kiddie tax is only applied to dividends, capital gains, interest, things of that nature. Okay? Next, you have U.S. savings bonds. U.S. savings bonds, you don't pay any state or local income tax. The maturity, though, is usually 15 to 30 years. But you can redeem within 12 months. Okay? Not within, sorry. After 12 months, you can redeem. Next, you have T-bonds. Now, they are tax-free federally. They're normally 10 to 30 years for maturity. You also have muni bonds, which are exempt from federal, state, and local. But you have to be careful of the discount, okay? So let's say you are a New York resident. It's best that you buy a New York muni bond. Because if you buy, let's say, a California muni bond, you're not going to be able to take advantage of the tax exemptions. The California muni bonds are really tax exempt for California residents. And these mature 1 to 10 years. Okay. The next thing you can do is you can enroll in your firm's FSA plan on your job if they have it, because this way, when you do that, you're not taxed at your full salary amount, you're taxed at a portion. Next, you can also enroll in your firm's transportation allowance program. Mine, we have something called transit check. Again, I'm not taxed on my full salary. I'm only taxed on what I let them take out for FSA and for the transportation allowance. Like minus that. That's what I'm taxed on. Okay. The next thing, of course, is an option is you can move to a state with no income tax, or a country for that matter, because we are becoming a very nomadic society, and there are countries where you don't have to pay any tax at all. So those would be your options. Okay. To get more information on investing in bonds, as you know, because that was one of the suggestions I made above, definitely contact your local library. Okay. And also the Financial Empowerment Zone, they actually do have people who know about investing in the stock market as well. So they would also be a good place a good source to ask. Now, for those of you who are investing, you can open up an ESA or College 529 plan. The ESA is Educational Savings Account, otherwise known as an educational IRA. The two plans, the ESA and the College 529, are not the same. They're different. But both of them, investors can use it as long as they make less than $190,000 a year. With the 529 plan, your child can actually live in the house. With the ESA, your child cannot live in that house. But the house will be tax-free as long as whatever money you make on it is used towards education. You can also open up an HSA, which is a health savings account. Again, you cannot live in that house, but whatever money you make on it grows tax-free. And what you can pull that money out and use it for health care and not suffer any penalties. That's why a lot of people like the HSA plan over the 401k, the IRA, and any of the other retirement plans. But the thing is, if you are in FSA, the flexible spending account, you can't be in the health savings account anymore. Unless you did it before they changed the laws, of course. Now, if you own a home, what you can do is accelerate your expenses, meaning pay your utilities off earlier. Like when you get January's bill in December, don't wait till January to pay it. Pay it off in December. This way you can write it off on your taxes. You also want to pay down on your mortgage, put money on the principal, and you want to speak to your CPA as far as how much money to put on the principal so that you don't have to pay that much back in taxes. Also, consider your operating expenses. Put more money into that. Maintenance, insurance, garbage, snow. See, many people don't get homeowners insurance, but it's a very dangerous thing not to do. And what they don't realize is that homeowners insurance is actually tax deductible. So I'm not even sure why many of you don't get it. And then lastly, another thing that you can do if you own a home is land improvements, which is basically here in New York, we are responsible for the sidewalk in front of our home. We don't own the sidewalk, But let's say the roots of the tree sometimes will push up the planks or of the sidewalk, if you will, and somebody can trip over it and they can sue you. And they're not suing the city, they're suing you. So, yes, put money into that. That'll offset you being taxed, especially for those of you who have worked overtime and they really dug into your paycheck like they did into mine. But basically, the way I keep it, or the way I try to do it, is whatever extra money I get that I try to keep, I make sure to spend it in such a way that it makes more money for me and or saves me in taxes. Like all investments, guys, there's a risk involved. So definitely proceed with caution. That is why I always recommend that you speak to financial advisors, that you speak to lawyers, and that you speak to CPAs. Many of you think, oh, I don't need to speak to my CPA until taxes are due in April. No. You're paying for their service. You can speak to them any time of the year that you want to, especially those of you who are paying like $500. Some of you are even paying $5,000. Speak to them whenever you want to. And the more they know about you, the better, because you probably have other tax expenses going on that because they don't know you well, they don't know to suggest those things to you. Okay? So, guys, I hope the information that I've shared with you will help you to make smart financial moves, or at least question, what's happening. Pay more attention, be more aware. Okay? Remember, you can find me on YouTube at Real Estate and Recreation for any missed episodes that you did not get a chance to hear. I encourage you to feel free to pass this along. Feel free to subscribe. Remember, each one, reach one, teach one. Bye for now. Until next time, have a good night.